Hello. All right, thank you. So the whole morning we've been having really interesting sharing and insights from the teachers. And I've seen that, all these educators have so many new tools that they're working with. And especially during this last 2 years, there have been also, lots of challenges that they'll have to work through for their students to continue their learning. And a lot of these times, I think parents as well, if you can look at social media, a lot of parents are giving feedback. Teachers are struggling with the teaching, but also the students are struggling with learning at home without the guidance of a teacher. And so parents have been able to step in to basically play the role as the teachers and educators at home as well. On saying that, that's why we've decided to have the session today, which is basically looking at the roles of parents, and especially in the social role of parents in their students' learning, their children's learning. Very focused, especially on play at home, because parents themselves are not going to be content creators all the time. And so they'll have to use the tools and frugal appliances that they may have in the kitchen or at home for their learning. So just a very quick poll, you can just answer very quickly into the chat for the parents who are here today. Do you agree that a child-parent relationship and a child or parent playing together has a major role in the child's development? So just very quickly, you want to think about answering in the chat. Yes, Chang Tun Kwet says yes. I'm not sure if you're answering as a parent or as a teacher, or maybe of both. But yeah, we're seeing in that very much most participants here today agree that the parent plays a very large role. Yes, okay, majority, I think most people would say yes. We do know that parents play a really huge and important role, especially playing with their children as part of the development. Yes, Rexal answers parents and teachers as well together. All right, so because time is not on our side, I'll just move on very quickly. We have three honored guests today. We're very honored to host them. Dr. Etten Vong. Dr. Etten Vong.
Hi. Thanks for inviting me here today.
Hi, Etten. Yeah, I can see you're probably at your clinic.
Yes, it's my lunch break.
Yeah. You want to introduce yourself very quickly?
Oh, yes. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Etten, and I'm a speech language pathologist. I run my own private practice, and I'm also a parent to 2 kids, 9 and 11. And as a speech language therapist, we use a lot of play in our work. And of course, we also use to play a lot at home, but now my kids are a little bit older. They tend to play more on their own and more creative play at home as well. So I'm looking forward to share a bit of experience and share some things that we have been doing at work and at home as well with everyone here.
Thanks, Dr. Etten. And next we have Mr. Ang. Hi, Mr. Ang.
Hi, thank you for inviting Dr. Azani. So basically, I'm Ang. I'm a father of my daughter, and then basically, I think play is about what we are doing daily, what we can do daily, in any aspect in your daily work, if you can see play in every aspect, right? Then life will be very fun. So probably I will share more a bit or from my experience as parents or my life maybe. Thank you.
Hi, we have Dr. JC here. She's also assisting me today. All right, and next, thanks, Mr. Ang. And next we have Jolene. Hi, Jolene. Hi, Jolene. Hi, can you on your sound, Jolene? Can't hear you. Oh, you can't open your mic. Can you try and test again? All right. Jolene, maybe you want to try and can you open a breakout room? Can you open a breakout room and she enter the breakout room to try and solve the sound Yeah. We'll try and open a breakout room for
I'm
Dr.
here.
Jolene. Jolene, you okay?
Yes, yeah. They
okay.
just allowed me to be the panelist, therefore I have access to my mic. Sorry.
Okay, great.
All right.
Okay, and your
yes.
video as well?
Yes, I've turned on my video.
Okay, great.
Yeah. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Jolene Ho. Okay. First and foremost, a mother of 3 boisterous young boys and also the co-founder of KNOTS, Knowledge New Old Twist. So a little bit of myself, I hope you can bear it with me. I'm a marine scientist by qualification and an environmental educator by experience. So my co-founder and I, Noshida Wati, language teacher by qualification, and we founded KNOTS to provide children with alternative learning experience to enhance their cognitive and social skills. I do not know whether I have a long time or not. Okay, but we developed this vanishing classroom whereby at the end of our sessions, our classroom actually disappears, but the lessons remain. So this vanishing classroom allows us to provide the inclusive education aspect for our learners. And of course, before COVID, we ran face-to-face, like photography, entrepreneurship, and leadership. But now, due to COVID, we brought everything virtually. And I think during the lockdown, all of us are also, scrambling to find ways to keep our children engaged. Okay? So at home, I'm also trying to remain sane, okay, for almost 2 years, and also to ensure that my boys have a balanced academic and also non-academic exposure and experience. And of course, through fun and excitement, which these 2 words, when we put it together, is actually play. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, so thanks very much. I'll just quickly share the screen, just so that we can have a little bit of a background. So if you try to Google, and especially as a parent as well myself, when you would try to Google about materials online, in this case, I tried to Google social role of parents in play, you get 6.5 billion hits. So there's so much information available, but I think a lot of parents feel this, right? That sometimes you're really overwhelmed, that there's so much material, so much everything available, so much advice, and sometimes the advice conflicts with each other as well. And so as a parent, sometimes you might feel like this is a struggle, especially if you're a first-time parent. And so it's quite important, I think, that parents have a platform to actually talk about this. And so I think today we really want to pick your brains as well, to just have some really main questions, right? Which I forwarded to you before, the 3, 2, 1. Yeah, so that's in a bit a way to just condense the information from you guys as parents and as educators as well. Right. So the first one, I think Jolene has a video, which I think we won't play this time, Jolene, because of time, but we'll make it available so that the link later will be shared, and so parents can have a look at what KNOTS does. Is that all right, Jolene? Yeah?
Yes, sure.
Okay, great. Okay, so then the first question we have is, please share 3 reasons why play is important. So you may want to talk about some of the challenges or some positives that you've faced in your experience, especially in this last 2 years where we've had a lot of home learning and online learning as well. So maybe I'd like to open for Ethan first, and then Jolene, and then Mr. Ang. Yeah. So Ethan, would you like to give us?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Azani. Okay, I'd like to talk about the 3 main areas that we always focus on in play, but of course there are many more areas to add on. The first one would be people skill. I would say that social skill is probably one of the main reasons why we play a lot with our kids. And through play, they pick up a lot of skills, like even quarreling, negotiating, discussing, sharing, turn taking, lots of things that they can actually get through playing with each other and playing with us. And the second one is, of course, language. As a speech language therapist, we embed a lot of language into our play. So whatever concepts we want to teach our kids, we embed it into play, dirty, wet, and we talk about long, short, big, small, all embedded into play. If we play with animals, so what do animals do? How do they look like? What do they eat? And we play with cooking set, things like that. So we embed a lot of language into play as well. So the other one is attention to details. I think play is a really good way to get kids to pay attention to details, how they build their blocks, and looking at a book and following instructions, looking at things. So those are some of the areas that I think are really important when we talk about play. But of course, most of all is having fun and bonding with our kids when we play. And for the past 2 years, the challenges has been that a lot of play is reduced to our home. And we can't go out and experience not much sensory play, especially for kids who are not living in a landed property. I think that's a huge issue. They don't have a lot of space to run around. And that has always been a challenge. So sometimes I tell parents to create a little messy corner for them so that they can actually draw on the walls even, or have a little place where they can actually get dirty. And of course, limitation of meeting people as well. I think that's also a huge limitation. They don't get to see their friends, they don't get to touch their friends and hug their friends, and they basically lose out all these elements when they are studying a lot at home. So I think that's a huge challenge. Not much we can do about social distancing, but what we have been doing at our own home is that when things are a little better, we set up play dates with people who we are close with. So we have 1 or 2 friends coming over, or sometimes we have our kids going over to their home. But we make sure that, of course, it's a safe bubble for us to actually have these sessions as well. And we set up arts and craft sessions for them as well, or even small baking sessions, so that we can actually provide some play element into their everyday boring routine for the past 2 years, because it has always been at home most of the time. And of course, we can't run away from screen. There's been so much screen. Even us parents have to work, right? So sometimes we have no choice, but we have to give them a bit of screen. So, but in my household, we have rules. There's no screen during weekdays, other than the online screening classes, of course. But other than when they get off school, they are not allowed to be on screen to do their video games and stuff like that. So we get them books, and then we have toys at home so that they can actually create their own play as well at home. So these are some of the things that we have been facing for the past 2 years, and it has not been easy for parents, to be honest, especially when parents have been juggling work at home as well, and having to play with their kids and having to cook and run a household as well. It has been tough. Yeah. So back to you, Azani. Oh, I can't really hear you.
Yeah, it's quite a challenge for parents who are working with their kids right by their side as well. Yeah, how about you, Jolene? Are you facing the same challenges as Dr. Etten as well? And how have you been able to resolve those?
Yes, I think we are all in the same boat for parents, whether they are fully working full-time or not. The children are now 24/7 at home. We have to juggle many things at one time. So yes, actually children learn best through play. Okay, I think it's natural for them to learn through play, because since baby, the first the first encounter, social encounter or physical, is also through play. How we look at babies and go like this. So it's also a form of play. We adults actually must acknowledge and also understand that play is important to develop, not limited to their social skills, but also to use their creativity while developing other skills such as imagination, motor skills, you name it, physical, cognitive, emotional, everything. It all boils down to, play. And of course, the best play experience is when, to me is with nature, but we were locked down. So therefore we have really lost one huge natural playground for us. So yes, I do feel and experience that, and I do race against time, trying to keep up with the children, make sure that they don't lose out on play. You are muted.
you raised a really nice point about connecting with nature as well in your adventures with play. Yeah, so maybe I'll also like to welcome Mr. Ang. So Ang is also the president for the Wilderness Society in Sarawak. Ang, yeah, so nature's really part of his core core life ethos as well as your core business, right? Maybe you want to explain as well how you've been incorporating as a parent this play and nature elements maybe as well.
I feel like I'm lucky at that, I quit my full-time job right before the COVID happened. And I got the time to spend, the luxury time with my kids, with my wife, with my family. Before that, I don't have that kind of luxury. I'm here in Kuching, then my wife is in Singapore, my kids is in Johor. It happens like almost, since my child was born last time. So I think I'm lucky in that sense, and then managed to bring them here. And then, I feel like it is within these 2 years of this pandemic, we practice play a lot, from you wake up, how to get your kids to get up from the bed, to brush your teeth, everything can be gamified in the sense it's everyday life, right? So it's so much fun that, you don't have to, quarrel or fight with your kids to get things done. Just gamify it, let them curious, or let them, you compete with them. Let's go to toilet, who got it first, so you get things done already. So I think parents play a very important role. And then why play is important to me. I think one of the greatest thing that I harness from this play experience with my daughter, right, is the relationship among me, myself, with my daughter and my wife. Now I spend a lot of time with them, although alongside with my work, with my life, everything done, concurrently. That can be arranged. But I think I'm lucky enough because I don't have full-time job now. I'm running on my own business, so I can bring them everywhere when I'm doing my business, and then, involve them in my business, and then at the same time play together with them. Whenever we stop by, right? So for example, I'm selling yogurt now. When I send yogurts to somewhere, probably I will pass by a park. So we drop by a park, and then we just have our lunch, a short picnic there. Then we we run, we collect leaves. We recognize colors of the flowers, those are play element, I would say. So I think through this experience, I think kids, they are more curious. That's the result. They are more curious about their environment, their surrounding. Curious is, I think, one of the very important ingredients for the creativity. And then the next thing probably will be the logical thinking. When they have to test their hypothesis in play. There's a lot of possibility, when you are in play. There's no fixed rule. I don't like the fixed rule for play. So let them go and then try things out, identify things, hide and seek or whatever. So they got this kind of like, form their logical thinking. Oh, this could be this way, this could be that way. This is a sequence of things. What comes first, what comes next. Okay, so they keep testing the hypothesis in their mindset, keep challenging if what they have been knowing, probably those things can be wrong or can be right, or there's no right or wrong in the end. It's just about finding the truth through a very personal perspective. So you can teach basically anything using this play, or, when you involve your kids with nature, anything, math, science, arts, different kind of things. So to me, I think the most important things that I get is the relationship as a parent with kids, through play. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you answered a bit of the second question already, which is if you could share how you assimilate your playful learning into your professional life and daily life. And then you shared that you take them along with you, your daughter along with you, and sometimes along the way from your work, you go to a park and stuff like that, right? So I think we'll let you off the hook on this question, and then we'll move on back to Jolene, possibly, if you would like to share a little bit about how do you assimilate this into your professional life and daily life, Jolene?
Sure. So I think we have come to a consensus that play is actually a form of learning that allows the child to learn, I think, in their natural pace, or their pace, like at their own pace. Okay. And then they have various scenarios that they are players in it. Okay, and they experience and then they analyze it their own way lah, at their own pace. To be honest, right? I have a confession. I have a very, very crazy imagination when it comes to play. And then I have a lot of things that I want to do with my children, but of course, with time and then with responsibilities. So, but with time, all of it, the projects actually turn out. I call it projects. In my head, I call it projects, but for the children, it's play. So some of it don't really turn out, but it's also a learning curve for me. And also the children actually, my children actually teach me. So we actually learn with each other, it may be perfect in my brain, but when I, stay with them and then, oh yeah, it can be a better, way. They actually teach me. It's my learning curve. So I have actually a hard time choosing what should I share. I have the cardboard slide. I have these are all my names, but they are more funky names, Halloween costume saga, mega city catastrophe, plant craze, or even the Tuk Tuk Express, all right. So I try to infuse play or involve them, both in my line of work and also as as a mom, as a parent. I see play as a process, not a destination. Okay, so the children actually navigates this process or this journey. Okay, I'm just merely out there, make sure they're safe, or they don't hurt themselves, and then to support them. Because I believe they already have knowledge or some experience with them. Okay, because they have been here like for 2, 3, 4 years, 8 years already done. Just we have to tap into this knowledge and then allow them to build what is next. This actually builds confidence and it allows small wins for these children, so that they can be proud of themselves, and then they will be continuously engaged. For this to happen, I strongly believe that we have to allow them to be in the process, like how Mr. Ang, you bring them out when you're doing your rounds, your work. So I do too. So my boys sometimes will be curious and ask me, why do you do this? And then I'll have to explain, or why do you do that? Can you do this? Why you don't do that? They have 1,001 questions. We as parents, we have to be truthful to them, and then also to listen to their questions. Because their question is actually one way for them to learn a new thing, or to relearn what they know. So I would like to share one project that I started with them. Not I started, they wanted to buy toys. Okay, they wanted to buy toys. But then I told them, you have a lot of toys. If you want, you need to earn it. And I asked, how are ways that you can earn some pocket money? So they were thinking, the time we were locked down and then we technically cannot do anything. And the only thing that was in SOP is delivery. We started small, okay. They named this delivery service based on their favorite toy, the Tuk Tuk car, Tuk Tuk Express boys, and they like cars. So they call it Tuk Tuk Express. And I guide them. I said, okay, you want to buy toy, what toy? So they guide me, they want to buy this toy, buy that toy. Then they will ask how much it costs. That's where I play with them, this toy, if you buy this is how much, this is how much. So I brought in elements, not only, financial literacy, you bring in entrepreneurship, but at their own level, not university level, but their own level. So we developed this project together. They curated what they want to sell, how much they want to sell. They tell me, I as an adult, I have to, or their mother, I have to support them. So if they want to sell, they don't have Facebook, they don't have WhatsApp and stuff like that. Okay? So I help them in that part. So, but the rest, they do it themselves. Who they want to deliver first, how they take care of their merchandise. It's up to them. I say, you make sure that you send the merchandise in perfect, I mean in good shape. So the learning process is, yeah, they send something and then the customer actually feedback and say it's rotten. That's, oh, how, how, what would you do? All right. So it starts them thinking like, how rotten. I said, if somebody, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to go there, like, it's going to be long, okay? But yeah, that's how we create opportunities for them to learn. Immersive learning, experiential learning. This one helps them to ingrain what they learn further and longer. And always, I think, always start with what they love doing, okay? Because that actually excites them. And I think for young children, right, or children, the easiest thing, cutting, coloring, folding, more kinesthetic, they are very into that. So whatever it is, whether the project is big, involve them in all these things. So like I have them cutting the boards and stuff like that, drawing. So the hard work of disseminating the posters online, okay, that will be us lah. But then it helps them to understand the process and then to learn when they're enjoying and also achieving what they want. So gamifying it in the sense of they know how much they need to go, how much money they need to accumulate to get their toy. But then actually in the end, they didn't buy any toy. They found it hard work. They say very, hard money, hard earned money. So they say, okay, I'll keep for future use, even better one. So this is something that I did not foresee, okay? But these are things that we can achieve when we incorporate play, and also immersive learning with children. I simple.
Yeah, that's interesting that you brought up that you actually let the children lead some of the processes as well, like the learning journey and the learning processes, because that was my experience with Dr. Etten as well. When Dr. Etten, I have to ask you this next now, because I think I will share a picture after this from your Facebook page that you actually do a lot of that, where you actually provide the activity for the kids, but then you also do let the children build on and lead the kind of play process as well in your work, right? Yeah. So maybe I'll let you elaborate on that as well. So how you assimilate this into the learning.
Okay. As a therapist, we incorporate a lot of play into our sessions, so we can't run away from play. So we build a lot of we play a lot, but we embed a lot of language into our play. So for example, if I were to teach tall and short, we might build like tall buildings all the way up and go tall, up, wow, so tall. And then, and then we'll put it down. So we embed a lot of play into our sessions. And then, or sometimes kids who have speech sound disorders, like they come with certain things that they can't say, So I would target a play that just target that sound throughout the sessions, and then put it into books as well, and then put it into my play, and then let them have lots of opportunities to try to say that certain sound as well. So those are those play things that we embed. And during the past 2 years, during the pandemic, right, they can't go out and all that. So I actually brought kinetic sand into my center and let them play, because kids were not allowed to go out that time. So they were losing out on a lot of outdoor play. Like outdoor is so important, like to all of us, right? Nature is so important. And a lot of kids, a lot of parents did not dare to bring their kids out. So I took a lot of things back into my center, and then I let them play kinetic sand. And then we did a lot of water play as well. So just doing fishing. And then so it's a lot of things involving it. Like, which one do you want to fish? Or I want this and that. So we embed a lot of language into it and sentence structure as well. So that's one of the things we did as well. And then of course at home, because with my kids, we did baking, and then we create arts and craft for the gardens. Because sometimes, after just planting plants, right, we got a bit bored, like watering, we got a bit bored. So then my daughter asked, okay, what can we, so I bought clay, and then we did like those little clay animals for her to decorate the garden, and we painted them. So those are some of the things that we did at home. But of course, in the center, it's more structured, because I have goals to achieve with the children that I work with. So the play is more considered more structured. So I have target goals that we have to achieve today. So this is the play I'm going to try and do today. But most of the time, I follow the child's lead as well, because sometimes what you set up for them, they're not interested. So then you have to be flexible. So you have to try and think, okay, what next? Okay, can I take out something that you're interested in? And from there we start to play. Like maybe they're more interested in Play-Doh instead of sand because they can't stand the texture. So sometimes they don't like Play-Doh. They might want to try something else. So then we can move to things that they are more interested in as well. But I use a lot of books too, aside from play, but I think books is a totally different session that we might probably have one of these days. Books are amazing as well. So I embed a lot of books and play into the session. And I saw one of the comments, one of the, I think it was a teacher and parent saying that they did the fashion show thing. I thought that's such a great thing, because with my kids love to role play as well. So at home, what they did is they did their own movie. They directed their own short movies. So they created their own script, and then they discussed their script, and then they did the introduction, and they video recorded, even have editings using my phone, you know, they edited, and then they put a play of their own. And then they'll show it to me, and then they'll say, you know, Mommy, this is what we did. And then they'll explain the play to me. So I thought that was something that I wouldn't know how to do, honestly, but they did it all on their own, and they discussed it among themselves. I thought that was really good teamwork, because they actually put their both ideas together to come up with their own play. So I thought that video fashion show was really good too. So it's really, the imagination grows as you can see when they are not able to go out. I think the imagination actually grows. Instead of being suppressed, I let them do whatever they want at home, of course with supervision, and then they actually come up with a lot of imaginary things, and a lot of creativity comes out. So you could actually see a lot of things growing as well. I think kids with special needs are a little bit different. Those are my work. So kids with special needs, they need more guided play, more guided and more targeted play. So that's a totally different area as well. But I think it can be done because parents just need us to guide them to actually what play is suitable for this group of kids. And even nature playing in nature is also very good for them, like digging in the earth outside, getting dirty, walking on the grass. So for all these kids, these things will be very beneficial. So for kids who don't have that much opportunity, I would say bring it in for them. It can be done, I think. Just a small patch would be really great.
Yeah, I think
Back
that's
to you, Azani.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So I think in our talk today already, both Dr. Etten as well as Mr. Ang and Jolene have shared some of their tips as parents as well as educators, right? So I'll just quickly lead into the last question, which is if you can just have one takeaway advice that you would like to give to parents if they want to incorporate more play or want to change something in their life so that they could be more playful, what would that be? So I'll let you answer this first, Etten. What is the one thing that you would say you should try and do this?
I think that one advice is to actually don't stress yourself out by buying a lot of toys. Have fun along the way. And I think that's the most important. For me, have fun. Don't think about what do I need to teach next, you know, just have fun. And along the way, like as Jolene said, the kids will actually teach you a lot of things. And along the way, you can add on a lot more things and have fun along the way. I think that's the most important advice, is to have fun and the bonding time with the children, because that's something that you probably won't ever get back again.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. Etten. Mr. Ang, how about you? What would be your one takeaway thing that you would say?
I think I'm going to give a very practical advice or suggestion. You know, so whenever your kids ask you, can I do this? Can I do that? Okay, I think the probably I would advise, don't say no. Probably next time, no. You should answer, hey, why not? Let's go, just do it. I think being a parent, we should be more flexible in the sense that, you know, at that particular time, at that, you know, particular opportunity, we have to grab it. you have to really grab it, and then of course with support, and then also taking care of our children safety. Okay, so we can embed play in everyday life in towards anything. That's what I believe. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. And Jolene, would you like to share your one takeaway message?
Yes, of course I will. I think I have a lot of friends asking me, how do I keep my boys entertained, or they are engaged in something. Actually, the first thing is allow them to be bored. Right? It is okay for them to be bored. Right? We don't need to be 24/7 ensuring that they are entertained. Okay, this is, I think, to me is crucial, because to me with boredom comes creativity and imagination. So as you can see the picture, right? When they are bored, they will come up with own things to do, okay, to play. Right? So the word play is out. All right. Just provide them with simple materials, like what Dr. Etienne said. It doesn't need to be expensive. Cardboard boxes, cardboard boards, paper, pencil, color pencils. These few things, perfect. Okay, they look at what they did with it. Okay, you come have collaboration, you have new experience. Even in your kitchen, like the pineapple. First experience carry a pineapple. Like, insisted two. I said it will hurt you, but go ahead. So he picked up and then he dropped it. Right. So boredom comes creativity and imagination. And cardboard cheap and free. You can get it anywhere. When you do buy from 12, you have boxes. There you go. And I agree with Mr. Ang. Our role as parents is to ensure the safety, make sure that the learning environment is safe. That they are confident enough to explore and to experience, the learning process. And do not judge, like what Mr. Ang said. Not say no, but say let's do it. Okay, and another thing, sorry a bit long-winded, is respect them as an individual. Okay, because they explore and discover at their own pace. Okay, that will give them a sense of excitement, and don't like helicopter. I know a lot of my friends like to helicopter when the child play. Do not do that. Because like how we adults before COVID, we go shopping. Some of us like the shop attendant to follow us and to recommend stuff, but some of us don't like. For me, I don't like. I don't like the shop attendant following me, tailing me when I want to shop, because I like the excitement behind that. When I open the shelf, oh, this is something I want. So similarly to a child, they also want to explore on their own. But watch out for their cues. So some child may need more guide or need you to be there to explain or to give information. Just be there, to support them. Let them know that, if you need me as your mommy or daddy, just call out to me. I'll be there. But be safe and enjoy what you are playing or learning. So do not interrupt them. So that's what I want to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ang, I see your cute little girl is there as well. Yeah, I think that's all the time we have for today. I wish that we could have like a coffee session over this one day. And I think we will have a lot of parents who will be really interested. Unfortunately, we don't have the time now to answer all the Q&A, but I do encourage anybody who wants to write in later, or you want to maybe connect directly with Dr. Etten or Jolene or Mr. Ang, that you can connect to us, or I think we also provided their contact and their Facebook in the chat, and so you can also contact them directly. So just very quickly, I'd like to say that like you all said, don't stress, right? Let the kids lead it. We have to respect that they are also learning at their own pace, and they can lead actually and teach us as parents as well. And just a very quick note, I think everyone is doing really great. You're all doing really great as parents, and supporting the teachers and supporting all the other educators as well in this challenging time. Again, I'd like to thank Jolene, Dr. Etten, and Mr. Ang. Thank you, and to our audience as well for your interaction in the chat. Thanks so much, everyone. And see you guys next year.
Thank you, Azani.
Thank you, Azani. Thank you for having
us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you, everyone.